You can sharpen any kitchen knife to shaving sharp for $0. If you've watched me in my workshop before, you'll know that I have a Timbecon, or you might not, but a Timbecon is a whetstone sharpening system. I use it to sharpen my chisels, and I've also done videos where I use it to sharpen my knives. I love it, it's a great system, it's just really expensive, and not everyone has access to it, and not everyone needs it. I have bought a lot of cheap pocket sharpening systems in the past. Almost anyone who likes knives has done this, from the pull-through knife sharpeners with a little V groove of carbide to small sharpening rods that you run along the blade, and honestly, I've just never kept using them. I found it really hard to keep the angle right, or it's taking too much material off. They just don't perform consistently. I've got a system that won't cost you as much as a Timbecon. You probably don't need to buy a single thing, and you can get your kitchen knives just perfect. All you need to make this work is some wet and dry sandpaper, some scraps of wood, and some masking tape. Almost anyone with a workshop has wet and dry sandpaper. If you don't, it's about $1 a sheet. You want to get yourself some different grits, probably 400, 600, 800. That's maybe $3 there, if you didn't already have some lying around. You don't have to use wet and dry sandpaper, but generally that's the only sandpaper that goes that fine. You also need some scrap sticks of timber, or some of these tongue depressors. These are really handy, and I have them for stirring paint and stuff like that. If you don't have this lying around, any thin scrap of timber will do. Just you want something that's all around the same length. Cut some strips of your wet and dry sandpaper to the same width as your stick of timber, and then tape the sandpaper onto the timber. That's it. That's the whole sharpening system. Make a few of these. Make some in the 400, the 600, the 800, etc. You can use both sides. And the most important thing is I can show you how to get this angle perfect so you get a perfect consistent bevel on both sides of your blade. I saw Paul Sellers do this years ago, so this is just an evolution of his version. I'm sure plenty of other people do it too. It's not particularly difficult. Basically, you put your knife on some sort of platform, usually about 20 to 25 millimeters thick, and then you can run your sandpaper along the edge and that angle stays consistent. Let me show you how. Take your knife and mark that bevel the whole way along. This lets you see which part you're sharpening and if your angle is correct. Any Sharpie marker will do. You really only need to mark one side, but it is nice to see both sides to make sure that the bevel is the same. Next, place your knife flat on a piece of scrap. Start with something about 20 mil thick. I don't know what that is in inches. 3/4 maybe, I think is 19 mil. Grab your paddle pop stick sharpener, your tongue depressor sharpener, and rest the heel on the table and the sandpaper bit on the bevel. And start moving it back and forth. You will see the mark made on your texture line, on your permanent marker line, which will tell you if your angle is enough. So you can see here, hopefully, that I have started to remove some of that metal, but it has not come right to that edge. So there's still Sharpie on the edge, whereas the part that I've removed is further back. That means to get my sandpaper down to that edge, I need the angle to be steeper. The simplest way to make the angle steeper is to raise the knife. So I'm gonna move from my 20 mil piece, 20 mil board, up to my 25 mil board. Now these could be chopping boards. It could be a book. It could be a chopping board on top of a book. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be plywood. You just need a few things that are different thickness. So I'm now on my 25 mil board. I'll try that again and see if I've removed all of my bevel. Okay, so this time I can see that I've really hit that bevel across the whole face, from the tip right to the heel of the bevel. That means my angle is correct. Because we're only using a small part of that sharpener, the angle doesn't change that much. Yes, it changes a little bit as we move it in and out, but I'm just using a circular motion the whole way around the blade. If this knife has been well maintained, that bevel angle should be the same for the whole length of the blade. If the knife has been poorly maintained, then the bevel may increase or decrease along that length of the blade. On this blade here, the bevel is really consistent from here to here, and at the tip here, it increases. So I either have the option of trying to regrind that whole bevel, which I can do. I could switch to a coarser sandpaper, or I can increase my angle to try and just catch that bevel where it's at. To increase your angle, all you need to do is raise the blade a little bit further. So shove something else underneath the chopping board, get it a bit higher, and then you can meet that greater angle. I would much prefer this all be exactly the same angle, so I'm going to actually switch to a much coarser sandpaper and see if I can re-grind that tip essentially. Okay, I went back to 320 grit and I managed to get those bevels even. It's clear that this thing was unevenly sharpened, or the person who sharpened it was just putting more pressure on one side than the other, which is really common, especially when you're hand sharpening. And it's one of the benefits of using this system because the angle stays the same on both sides. So I've done 320, I'll go 400, 600, 800, 1200. I couldn't find any 1000 grit, and I reckon I'll be able to shave with this at the end of it. You don't have to put the permanent marker, the Sharpie, on between the grits, but it can help you see to make sure that you've got the edge. You'll be able to feel on the back edge of the knife when you've got that little burr as the side that you're sharpening folds metal down onto that back side. So as soon as you've got that burr along the whole back side, flip it over, do the other side. Once you've worked through all the grits, it's worth giving it a strop. You've come this far. Now, a strop could be a leather belt. It could be some denim on a hard surface, or you can just use some printer paper. This is about, 20 sheets of printer paper on my hard chopping board. And this time you're gonna pull the knife back, making sure that you're getting all of that edge. And you're trying to match that bevel angle. So you're not gonna be too steep, you're not gonna be too shallow. If you're too shallow, you're just gonna be polishing the blade. Now, printer paper is very slightly abrasive. So it's gonna be stropping and polishing that blade. Once you've done that from one direction, you're going to do the other side as well, making sure you're polishing that blade all the way to the tip, and we're pulling, not pushing onto the paper, because if you push, you'll just cut it. Stropping is a really unusual process because it's hard to believe, but it's actually pulling tiny amounts of steel towards that edge. So it's not removing material like you are with sandpaper, but it's actually smooshing metal, which gives you a polished and more refined edge. I'm pretty sure smooshing metal is a technical term. Wow, it feels sharp. Okay, after the stropping, our most important test. Will it shave? Now, you probably can't see this, but it is popping hairs off my arm with no trouble at all. I wouldn't want to shave my face with it, but it is certainly sharp enough for a kitchen knife. For a free, originally very cheap, this is a non-branded stainless steel kitchen knife, to get that sharp for no money, I think it's a great result. If you like this technique, but you want a more permanent version, EzeLap make a wonderful little diamond abrasive thing that looks exactly like this in 3 or 4 different grits. Look up EzeLap, there'll be a link down below, you can grab them from Timbecon. This works well, but the sandpaper wears out. A diamond stone will last you a lot longer. Look, it's fun using fancy tools like a Timbecon, and for production work like I do, they're really valuable, but not everything needs to be expensive. There'll be some links down below for buying wet and dry sandpaper. You can also look at those EzeLap diamond stone versions of these if you're feeling fancy. Let me know if you have any questions, comments down below, always happy to answer that. And if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. That helps us out. Otherwise, I will see you next week.